with me is my guest today, Charlotte Achieng. And thanks for being here.
You're welcome.
Where are you joining us from today?
I'm from Nairobi, Kenya.
And what can you tell us about Nairobi that we might not know?
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's my home. It's the only home I've known for the few years I've been alive,
Yeah.
and and I like how we call it. It's like the place of opportunities. Basically, it's the capital city, the place of opportunities, and Nairobi will harden you, that's for sure, because life happens and moves by so fast.
Mhm.
But just to dwell on the positive side, it's beautiful, There's you learn a lot seeing people, watching people move through life, and all that
Mhm.
happens in regards to it is amazing. So it's a beautiful place. You should put it among your to visit places
Yeah.
if that's something you're into. Yeah.
Does it seem to you a spiritual place? Do you have a connection to the kind of spirit of the city or the land?
Yeah, actually, yes. And there are quite a few people. Some are my friends, or some we get to bump heads, in the comment section when we're posting or sharing posts.
Mhm.
There's a lot, and I think mostly since I started being very curious about the spiritual realm,
Mhm.
uh, from late 2020,
Mhm.
I started noticing very different things that I really didn't know about. Like, I would get told like there are places where it doesn't rain when other places it's raining because something might happen there sometimes that upset the gods or something. And I'm like, I really didn't know that those things are wow. I was shocked actually. But
Yeah.
yes.
So, would you mind telling us a little bit about your spiritual journey?
Well, I like calling myself baby spiritualist, if
Yeah.
there's anything like that. Um, it actually started with a curiosity,
Uh-huh.
basically, whereby, and I felt this long ago when I was a kid. I lost my mom at a very young age, and I would see things and feel things that you really can't explain, or you don't even know how to explain it to someone, but you know it happened, and you're very sure that this happened.
Mhm.
And there was one particular instance that just beats my mind to date, and I don't even think my brother would remember it because he was so tiny. So we were in this house, we were living with my uncle then, and we were left in the house. The others had gone to work, school, and etc. And I was outside. I was trying to light up the fire so that we can cook. So I I tell my brother, I'm feeling so thirsty. Please go get me a glass of water. And he says, okay, I'm doing that. And then I think he went outside. But of course, I'm outside. This other side, I wasn't sure. So I hear someone in the kitchen. I hear that the tap is open and there's water pouring into a cup, and then zero movement. And then I'm like, I'm waiting for the water. Why can't you get me the water? So I walk to the kitchen and I find water on top of the counter. And of course, I drink the water because I was like, and I'm mad. I'm telling him, if you didn't want to bring the water to me, you would have just told me. Why did you just fetch the water and leave it here? And I've been talking to this boy and I've been hearing responses. And I kid you not, this boy was not in the house. So he comes back later and I'm like, why couldn't you bring me water? And he was like, what are you talking about? Me have not been in the house. And I was like, wait, what? And that thing bothered me for a very long time. And I would want to talk to someone about it, but I'm like, how do I start? They would
Yeah.
be like, you were seeing, evil spirits and whatnot. And I was like, I'm not ready for all that nonsense. But I realized sometimes when I'm in pain, I would feel this very warm, very warm presence that's very reassuring. And that is when I began to be like I would just literally call out loud, like, Mom, is that you? And I just became very curious. I would bump into posts, especially on Twitter, that would talk about things like that, and how, the dead would come around, and sometimes they're afraid to reach out or to actively show us I'm here because they don't want to scare us and all that. And I really started digging more. I started googling, reading, coming up across stuff, and just actively doing research. I would ask questions on people's posts, and that is how I began to learn and started practicing some stuff that, trust me, a few years back I wouldn't do, and I wouldn't even believe is true,
Mm-hmm.
but I do them right now, and they work, and they get results, and I'm like, wait, what? So it's a lot of, it's curiosity, it's a lot of fun, it's a lot of discovery,
Yeah.
and it's a lot of I feel so humbled, because I'm like, I make a request, and then I get whatever I asked, sometimes not necessarily in the way that I asked, maybe even better, but it
Mm-hmm.
just shows me there's actually people who hear,
Mm-hmm.
when I speak, because I can be alone in my house, and I'm saying I need this done, or this is bothering me, or I don't know how to get this, and I'm like, just take care of it. And it
Mm-hmm.
does happen. Like, take time. It would not happen like immediately. I ask, I'm like, I want a glass of juice, and it happens, but it does happen. So it's very loving. I'm no longer scared, because there was a time I was so scared. I could
Yeah.
not sleep with lights off.
Yeah.
It was very scary. It's no longer scary right now.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually something that I very warmly embrace.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I have to read something associated with spirituality on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
It is now a huge way of how I live my life. Just recently started learning about the chakras and how they work, and I'm amazed. Things like your chakra is blocked. I'm like, what is that even? And I learn about it, and I'm like, that is actually that happens.
Yeah.
And I sit, and I could be having a conversation with people who really know about all this, and I
Yeah.
sit and I'm like, I'm the only one who doesn't know this. Like, what? It's very fascinating, and the fact that every day you can learn something, no matter how minute it is, you can learn something that just is like, I makes a very huge difference. And then the most important thing that I think I've loved so far is there's a community.
Yes.
There is a group of people, I love calling them a family,
Mm-hmm.
that believe in this thing, and they're so willing to answer your questions. This is someone who doesn't even know you. We've just met on the comment section under someone's post, and you'll be like, what is this, or what is this, or what does this mean? And everybody just chimes in, and people are giving different suggestions, links of books, and I'm like, this is so amazing. And
Yeah.
it feels very, you belong, kinda gives
Mm-hmm.
the I belong kind of feeling, and you're not alone.
Yeah. So do you find most of your interactions online? Are there many people in real life that are into this stuff?
In real life, I would say a few
Mm-hmm.
people are very skeptical.
Yeah.
uh People would be so quick to say you're crazy, or you watch too much movies, or that doesn't happen here in Africa, or
Yeah.
there's just, people are so quick to find any other excuse that could possibly explain, other than them just sitting and being like, wait, this is actually a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
You were having a debate the other day, and I someone commented, the universe will always provide, and I seconded, and I was like, that is so true. And somebody was like, what do you mean the universe will always provide? What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I didn't even know how to break that statement down to this person. I
Yeah.
felt it is one of those things. It is an internal understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Even if I break it down, or I translate word per word to you, if you're still from the point of in denial, or the point of ignorance, not in a bad way, you will not get it. You really
Mm-hmm.
won't, and you will not believe it. So
Yeah.
that's just my take.
Yeah.
But online, I've seen a lot of people, like that is basically where my community is. I follow a lot of people that specialize in that, and not just the section of tarots or readings, but as a whole. You know how you can find healing. You get to learn things that explain why you have certain responses towards certain situations in life and all that. I'm interested in it as a wholesome, not just learning things that I can do to change my outcome, but to also try to understand how I am right now and why I might be attracted to the things I'm attracted to, or just how I can be better
Mm-hmm.
generally as a human being. So it's not just about show me what the cards are saying. No.
Yeah, there's an element of self reflection and maybe self improvement that goes along with that.
Hmm.
Yeah.
There is, for me, I guess, because I've always had anger, like this, just this, it's pent up somewhere. You get you get treated very brutally as you grow up, and
Mm-hmm.
being an orphan and all, and you're not given the space to express how you feel, your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts, opinions, and these are like voices that are never they never go out to play, they never go out to see the sun, so they
Yeah.
they are hidden somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a box I don't. Initially I'll be like, I am not touching that thing, I am not touching it. You just
Yeah.
stay over there, I'll stay over here, and we will live peacefully.
Yeah.
But you I realized the only way I can fully feel is if I touch that box,
Yeah.
and not just touch it, but indulge with what is inside, open it and just rip off the band-aid and just start somewhere. And it is hard initially. Like the starting point was hard because I would learn things about myself and about the people around me, things that were being done to me that were not okay,
Yeah.
but I couldn't see that then. And I thank goodness for that, because I see them now and I'm full of rage, because like, why would you do this to me,
Yeah.
and having to have the grace to be like, it happened. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing I can do about it now, and
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. I'm hurt, I am mad, I am I can have a blow up right now because of something that happened to me 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And the person who even did that doesn't even know, doesn't even remember, wouldn't
Yeah.
even care. And I read somewhere now, me who can see the whole picture, it's me who has the responsibility
Yeah.
to do
Yeah.
something about it. And I can either be like, be like, oh, I retaliate or whatever, but I can be graceful and release it.
Mm-hmm.
And I am always for, I want to feel better, and it's easy for me to walk out of a situation. I'd be like, you want that, it's okay, you can have it, you win, you're right, I'm good, I will go and find a way to feel better.
Yeah.
If I have to journal, if I have to yell, break something, cry, talk to someone, whatever it is that I'm going to do to feel better,
Mm-hmm.
I will choose that road over any other road
Mm-hmm.
any day.
Mm-hmm.
So learning that is it's been very challenging, because sometimes I don't want to be the bigger person, because why do I get to be the bigger person?
Yeah.
When will the other person get to be the bigger person? you know so it's just, but it all boils down now to, you now have all the information. You are the one who is aware of all these things that the other person probably isn't.
Mm-hmm.
So you are not from the same level. You
Mm-hmm.
cannot act the same way as the other person, because you have the privilege of seeing what they can see. And if I act the same way, that would beat the purpose of growth, or the purpose of even having to learn these things and being on this journey.
Yes.
So there's major self-awareness that happens on a daily, it's continuous. And the growth, there are things that when they get done to me right now, I'm very allowing, or I'm very easy. It's just in my head, I'm just like, it's okay.
Yeah.
That years back, I would be so beat up about. Like, I'd be like, no, and I want to. it's just like I want to do something about, but nowadays I'm just like, that's what you want to do. Okay, because it shows me it, you've actually exposed to me where you are,
Yeah.
so I now know how I can deal with you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I now know where is your level of awareness with yourself and intelligence and all that. And I'm like, I'm not touching that shit with nothing. I'm just bye. It's just I'm not doing that. I'm not letting that contaminate what I've been working on.
Yeah.
So there's major growth that is happening, and I really love it.
That's a wise perspective. Being able to see where other people are and meet them where they are instead of trying to
Hmm.
bring them to where you are. Um,
Hmm.
I think that's a sign of growth. Yeah.
It is.
Okay, what can I ask you what your relationship with the chakras is? What you found interesting about them or how you discovered them?
Well, how I discovered them was very funny. I was reading something, a documentary, I guess, and I saw this image of someone seated, like the way the Buddhas always sit, and they're like there's the colors, there's luminous, you know, this the glowing colors, and they've named sacral, and I'm like, what is this? I was like, what is this? I was like, what in the wild? So I went and Googled the word and I was like, what is this? Chakra, shit, what is this? So I went and Googled the word and I was like, wait, what? And then I remember I was going through a breakup, if I'm not wrong. And they were like, oh, you know, you've been enmeshed with this person and they have part of you in them and you have, you know, a residue of their energy in you and you need to release. And I'm like, what? And I was told to do some cleansing thing,
Yeah.
and I did it. I was very skeptical. I was like, okay, so I go to the bathroom and then I'm supposed to just chant this out, and I'm like, this looks mad weird. And I remember the lady that was telling me was like, you just have to believe it from your heart, and you have
Yeah.
to. And I was asking a lot of questions. I was like, so when I shower, so what happens? And she's like, as the water leaves or it goes down the drain, you need to picture that whatever you're trying to get rid of is
Mm-hmm.
gone with that water. And
Mm-hmm.
I was laughing so hard because I was like, are you serious? And she was very serious. She was very detailed in how she was explaining all of this. And there's this thing I've always had it. Because I can get very skeptical. It's so hard for me to believe. I'm like, okay, well, you seem like you know what you're talking about. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to take your faith. So
Yeah.
I'm going to borrow your faith and I will just cling on to it until I see results, and then I can now go and take my own faith.
Yeah.
So I was like, she knows what she's talking about. Let me go and try this. And I did. I went back home in the evening and I did do everything that she told me, bathed with the herbs and whatnot. And then I went to sleep. And then something happened. I had a very weird dream. I had this dream of I had gone to swim by the lake or something, and I wasn't swimming. I was just seated in the water, but I was lying. I was lying across the water, and there was rocks and whatnot, and I was having this feeling of I am clean.
Mm.
I'm pristine. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm.
And it that dream was like very short, a very short dream, because I woke up almost immediately and I checked the time. It was like maybe 15 minutes into the sleep. And I woke up feeling very different,
Yeah.
completely different. And I took my had with that person, and that was it. It never bothered me till to date.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I am such a let me see results person.
Yeah.
And I was like, these are results that you really can't debate with.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not something I can show you like here, see here, but it's I feel it.
Yes.
And that is all that mattered to me, that I'm feeling different. That was all
Yes.
the proof that I needed,
Mm-hmm.
literally. So that is how I started learning more about, the crown and what it does and what colors you can wear. And it's very funny. It's also, I love that it's super playful.
Yeah. What
I
a
find it very playful.
Can you describe an example of that?
Like, for example, wearing color red or any element of red, could be, I don't know, shoes or top or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that I might wear that is red. And that day, no matter what, it's like I set the intention before I leave the house.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could have something red with me.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a phone case, could be my handbag. And before I leave the house, I do this all the time. I speak to my house when I'm leaving, and I'm like, be good, I'll be back.
Yeah.
Someone would hear me, they would think I'm talking to someone, but I'm like, be good, I'll be back. If you happen to have any guests that come around, you just be good. And I leave the house and I set the intention, and I'm like, I just want to be grounded today. I don't want to be overwhelmed with emotions. I don't want to be easily triggered with things that people do. And it will be that way.
Yeah.
So when I come back in the house and I'm trying to freshen up, I get these things off and I remember, oh, I had this red thing and this contributed to it. And also how I feel when I wear yellow, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I can do anything. It's just, I find it very playful.
Yeah.
The changes or the impact it has on my energy is very weird. I don't know why. I will see something orange, it will catch my eye and I immediately want it.
Uh-huh.
It's just, I'm yet to find the relation. I'm assuming I'll learn, but I like it so far. It just, to me, I find it very playful.
And do you have a pretty good relationship with your energy? Do you sense it often? What does it feel like?
Yeah, I sense things sometimes, and I never know how to explain it, but I know I feel different.
Yeah.
I can be just settled and I start feeling like I can even have a headache out of
Mm.
nowhere, or someone passes and I feel very cold,
Mm-hmm.
you know, or I'm seated and I feel, I have goosebumps, and then I will get a call or
Mm-hmm.
something, just something happens, or I can go next to someone and I can almost sort of feel what they're feeling,
Yeah.
and I'm like, "Are you okay?" And they're like, "No, why are you asking?" And I'm like, it's so hard to say I can feel it. Now who will
Yeah.
believe you can feel it? And I'm like, "No, I'm just asking if you're okay because you don't look okay."
Yeah.
But I feel it, and it's very, very weird.
Yeah.
Very weird. Yeah.
Okay. Well, should we try and go through the chakras?
Yeah.
Have you tried to do this before? Like speaking
No,
from or with your chakras?
no. I saw
Okay.
it. I saw it on the post you made.
Yeah.
I didn't even know something like that was possible.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't know what it entails, but I was like, I want to do it.
Well, let's try it. Let's try it.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, so we'll just take a minute and maybe settle down into the heart. Do you have a sense for what that feels
Okay.
like?
Uh,
How do you feel?
I was just noting that physically, I feel like my heart is beating very,
Mhm.
very calm. I wouldn't
Yeah.
say slow because that would mean I'm dying, but it's it's very calm.
Yeah.
And I feel, or I felt that, like, you see how it's really hot and then you get something cold to drink,
Mm-hmm.
and then you can feel it going down. You
Yes.
literally can feel it. Yes, I
Yes.
felt that. So
Yes.
I felt
Nice.
that down my spine, and
Yeah. Mm.
it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What colors do you associate with the heart?
Uh, White,
Mm-hmm.
green,
Mm-hmm.
purple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And how do you feel when you wear those colors?
When I feel white, I basically laugh throughout the whole day. Sometimes I catch myself and I'm like, Lord, you sound so silly. But it's just I will try to even like have a stern face, but then
Yeah.
I feel like it's just stretching. Uh Purple makes me feel very loved. Like I'll be
Mm.
very mushy the whole day. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be like, oh, thank you. Like someone does something so small and thank you so much. Oh, and it's very weird. Very weird. And it took me a minute before I could realize its colors play
Yeah.
a huge role to that. And then green, I forgive a lot when I'm wearing green. So
Yeah.
like, and sometimes when I have a grudge with someone and like I'm really mad, I purposefully not wear green because
Mm.
I feel like I'll be, yeah, I feel like I still want to pout because
Yeah.
I'm not happy about this. But if I feel like if I wear green, I'll just be like, "Ah, okay, fine, it's fine."
Yeah.
But I still want to be like, no, you did this and I'm not happy about it. So the green is the color. I'd be very forgiving.
Yeah.
I don't even when I'm mad with God and I'm trying to pray at night and I have like I will get my green bed sheets
Mm-hmm.
and put them so it helps to diffuse the anger I'm feeling so that I
Mm-hmm.
don't like pray or make requests from a point of anger.
Yeah.
I want it to I want yes I want to him to know that I'm not happy and I'm hurting and this is so frustrating, but I also want it to come in a loving way,
Mm-hmm.
because I really want to have a loving relationship with him and the other entities. So I figured green is does that. So I have green everywhere in the house. In my kitchen is full of green.
Yeah.
I have green coats. I have green is always somewhere. Yeah.
How did you learn to forgive?
Uh when I did something to someone that I couldn't take back
Mm-hmm.
and I couldn't make up for.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to sit there and look at this person, feel and express the hurt that I made them
Mm-hmm.
feel. And let me tell you, that is the most uncomfortable thing
Mm-hmm.
to have to experience in this lifetime because
Yeah.
no one wants to be shown how bad they are.
Yeah.
No one wants to be shown or to see the amount of pain that someone else is experiencing because of something that you did.
Yeah.
No one, I like to believe, no one likes to be put in that space. So when I was sitting there and I remember wanting them to forgive me, initially it was because I was feeling guilty.
Yeah.
And I felt the only way this guilt could go away is if it is replaced with the assurance that they have forgiven me. I don't know
Right.
if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. But initially, as time went by, was fine. They will forgive me. I want them to forgive me, but that is solely for me.
Yeah.
I'll be okay when they tell me I've forgiven you, and it's fine. I'm good. My ego is set.
Yeah.
But what about them?
Yeah.
Like how do they genuinely feel
Yeah.
when they look at me? The number of times that the feeling or the memories of what happened will pop up
Yeah.
when I'm not there, when I'm not even aware. How are they going to navigate that? And
Yeah.
I
A
felt
real
like
deep empathy.
yeah, I felt like I've left this person with such a huge responsibility, emotional responsibility, and I felt it was very selfish of me to want them to forgive me just because I feel bad.
Yeah.
And that moment, that is when I learned there's a difference between apology and atonement
Mm-hmm.
and even appeasing someone. You know,
Mm-hmm.
just because you're apologizing to me doesn't mean that I feel you are sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I had a conversation with them and I told them I wanted you to forgive me because I was feeling bad that I did that. I
Yeah.
now, looking at the situation later with the benefit of hindsight, I see that I did something very shitty and that was not okay.
Yeah.
But even that approach is still not okay.
Yeah.
I've been seeing you and I'm seeing you struggle, in as much as you hide it very well. I still see that this bothers you, and I need you to know that I'm willing to do or to be there for you in a way that you want me to be there for you. So I want you to tell me something or anything that I can do that can make you feel that I'm helping you ease the burden you're feeling.
Yeah.
So I stopped giving suggestions of what I can do. I was like, whatever you feel I can do that is within my power, I will adjust to it.
Yeah.
And they cried for a very long time.
Yeah.
And and she was like, I feel seen.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I think the forgiveness happened at that moment because it was
Yes.
never brought up,
Yeah.
and it was very beautiful. So I feel like if someone could do that for me,
Yes.
and yeah, I can also do that for someone.
Yeah.
So that is how I learned, having seen the pain that someone goes through. I was like, yes. And also being in the situation of whereby having to live and work with that anxiety of I did this to this person and then they're not okay and da da da. And it when they let it go, it also helps me let it go
Yes.
and just ask them to give me the benefit of the doubt that I can be better or I cannot do that again and hurt them in that magnitude again. So yeah, it's the fact that forgiving is attached to letting go.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the main catalyst for me to
That's
now
that's
being,
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, that was the main catalyst for me to being like, okay, now I've been carrying this all this while.
Yeah.
It's not happening. And then I realized, you don't need a sorry for you to forgive. And that just blew my mind. Like, oh my God. I've always known you have to say you're sorry, and then I can think about it. But it
Right.
has absolutely nothing to do with the other person. So you're like, oh gosh, this is all on me, it's all on me. There's absolutely no way. And you can forgive even when you do not agree. You can forgive even when you do not understand why you have to forgive, or you know why you have to be the one to let it go. It's just, if that's what I need to do to release what I'm feeling that is not comfortable, I'm willing to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you been able to apply that also to yourself to do self-forgiveness?
I try, but I'll tell you it's not easy
Right.
because I think I'm my biggest critique. Like,
Yeah.
why did you do this? And I learned there was someone who wrote something. I don't know. I can't remember who posted it, but I read it on Twitter. And this person was like, and they wrote in capital letters, be careful, be very careful how you talk to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't grasp the magnitude of it when I was reading it. I just scrolled, and then I realized I was waking up where I was seated, and I had something on my lap. So I woke up, and then everything poured, and I was like, "Ah, you're so stupid!" And then I froze.
Yes.
I was like, "Wow, wait, but why do I talk to myself like that?
Yes.
Because I'm not stupid, no." And I was so mad, and I cried for a minute because I'm like, I'm not stupid. And I don't like that I had to tell myself that, and in the tone and the aggression that I said it with.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote it down somewhere. I think it's somewhere in my living room on the wall. I am 1,000% intentional with being gentle with myself. I'm like, when I forget something, I literally do this, and I'm like, it's okay, honey, we'll do it later. Like, I literally do this.
That's
Like,
great.
even at work, my colleagues would be like, look at this cartoon. Like, they call me the cartoon. It's like, when someone would see, I would do this wherever I am in the supermarket. I'm like, it's okay, I'm sorry, it's fine, we'll get something. That's just how I am right nowadays. I forget to do something. I'm like, oh shoot, it's okay, honey, don't worry, we'll do it. I'm very gentle, and it has raised the bar. It's also how I talk to other people is very
Yes.
different right now.
Yes.
And then also how other people talk to me. There's a certain way you cannot speak to me.
Hmm.
You will come at me raging, raising your voice, and I will look at you and I will just laugh because I'm like, it cannot be me you're talking to like that. It is not me. So I'm like, if I myself can't talk to myself like that, then who do you think you are to talk to me like that?
Yes.
So it has changed like on a 360.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
That's so, so beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah. How does your heart feel about all of that?
Very happy, like
Yeah.
it's dancing. It
Yeah.
feels like like um like an accomplishment. Like the way you tell a little child, I'm gonna come back and give you candy or biscuit or whatever. And then you come back and they're anticipating, you made a promise and you come back and you actually give them the candy and they're like, oh, yes, the candy, yes, but oh, also you said you will bring it and you brought it. So there's
Yes.
that gratification, satisfaction, combined into one, and just it feels very good.
That's wonderful. Okay, shall we move down a little bit to the solar plexus?
Yeah.
Just focus a little bit there. How does it feel different here?
Um, it feels, I feel tired.
Mm-hmm.
I have been straining, I guess, the whole of today or for the past couple of days.
Mm-hmm.
And it really feels like there's a pause. I need to just put a pause, and I feel like I need to stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it almost feels like there's something that is inside that isn't or shouldn't be there, that
Yeah.
just needs to be let out. Like there needs to be some body movement.
Yeah.
I feel I feel rigid in a way.
Do you do any kind of like dancing or movement, things like that?
I dance randomly in the house. I think that should count.
Yes.
Yeah. And I stretch. I try to stretch. I take some time, a few minutes when I wake up to stretch.
Yeah.
I go up the stairs, which is so exhausting, and sometimes I feel it's super necessary, but it helps. I go for walks sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I noticed so the dancing does something, It, I don't know, just something happens. It could be very random, not scheduled, like, oh yeah, it's time to dance. No, but it's just, I could be cleaning and there's music and I'm so in the rhythm and I'm dancing all over. It just really feels like I took this nice shower and I'm feeling so good. I feel like an energy boost or something
Mm-hmm.
of the sort. Yeah. It's very weird because I don't know. I know I've been straining and because I've been working and I'm in one position for a very long time. And then I sleep with all the stress of the work and the way the body has also been stressful. And yeah, it feels like I really need to get rid of that.
Yeah. When I have tension there, it's often related to a sense of not being able to kind of be myself, to
Hmm.
express myself in a way that I find useful or that I find is going to be, uh, I don't know, contributing something.
Hmm.
A sense of a lack of willpower, like other people are, especially when other people are telling me what to do, that gets
Hmm.
really activated for me.
Hmm.
I don't know if you have similar kinds of feelings.
I think for me it would be feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
Like when like work really, really stresses me, honestly. My
Mm-hmm.
work is very it's needs to be done in a particular way. Time is also a factor, you know, and you're getting pressure to deliver, and you're getting pressure from the clients themselves. It just it is just a lot is pent up, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is what makes me very, I'm feeling like I'm not okay. Like today I broke down.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to call because I'm working from home, and I needed help with some tickets because those flights needed to be sorted out. And I called almost 15 people,
Mm-hmm.
and no one was willing to help.
Yeah.
Others drop, others are like, ah, I'm fine, I can't do it, or you know. And I just, when I finally got a hold of a friend of mine, I started crying. I didn't even like say hello. I just started crying.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm tired. I'm just," and I just a whole 5 minutes of da 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 da. Da, I'm feeling this, and I just feel things just coming out, and I really can't control it.
Yeah.
And I remember I just made a mental note. Then I need to release that. You know, if I need to do something that makes me feel very happy, I just need to find a way to get that out.
Mm-hmm.
So it's the frustration that makes me feel tightness.
Yeah.
Even breathing becomes a problem, you know. Or I keep on sighing. I'm like, you know, because there's just a lot that is happening here. I can't explain.
Yeah. Um, one thing I do sometimes is to try and allow the chakras to communicate or talk to each other, and like allow that heart center, which has lots of love in it, to kind of spread down and
Hmm.
maybe soothe the solar plexus a little bit when it gets overburdened.
Okay. I didn't know that was possible. They can communicate with each other.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Mm.
I didn't know that.
The heart sometimes takes on the role as like the mother for the other chakras, kind of taking
Mm-hmm.
care of them and helping to regulate them,
Mm-hmm.
so that they all play nicely.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they just need a mother's love, you know?
Mm. Yeah, I can understand that.
Um, to let them know that they're doing okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Do you want to keep going?
Yeah.
Let's move down to the sacral chakra.
Oh boy. Ah,
How does that feel different?
uh, there used to be a lot of release.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there are things that I have like 2, 3 projects that I have been wanting to work on for the longest time possible,
Mm-hmm.
but every time there's a fresh excuse. So yeah, that needs to happen. It just feels like there's this cup, and it's full, and it
Mm-hmm.
needs to be emptied.
To go spread
So
out and contribute.
yeah, that's it. Yes,
Yeah.
not like be let out and thrown, but to be spread out. Like it needs to be somewhere else other than where it is right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a lot of times like a boat bobbing on the ocean, a little ship on big waves when I'm in the sacral.
Hmm. It's very funny. It's always there's always food in the
Yeah.
picture.
Yeah.
There's always food. Um, so it's either I am cooking,
Yeah.
which I really love doing. Yes, it's it's for me the sacral is connected with flow.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the ways that I identify with flow of things is with food. It's either I'm cooking, which I'm the source of the flow,
Yeah.
or I am consuming, I'm eating, which means I'm ingesting from somewhere,
Yeah.
which is along the chain of the flow.
Yeah.
Or and it's always like, no matter how much I'm eating, it's never I'm never like, "Ah, I'm too full, I can't have anymore." It's there's always, I feel there's always space. So I can have, it's when I take my mind there, it's a place where I can eat all day every day. That's basically all that happens.
Hmm.
And it feels like with everything I eat or anything that gets in, there's a type of nourishment that
Hmm.
happens.
Can you give us
So
the recipe for some dish that you make that nourishes the sacral?
like for me, I love water foods, which is very ironic because I've never had seafood.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that I've eaten that is comes from the water that I eat a lot is fish.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I attribute water with cleansing. Of course we bathe and we wash things, but like on a deeper level. And my favorite form of water is rain.
Yeah.
Rain, the way you see the sound of rain, I think that is the best sound for me. As that they battle the sound of laughter, a baby's
Yeah.
laughter or laughter in general.
Yeah.
Because when I hear someone laughing, I'm like, I also want to laugh.
Yeah.
But the sound of rain I find very soothing, very very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I see rain and I feel like there's a wound somewhere that is now being catered to.
Yeah.
I don't know how to even explain it. So that cleansing aspect, of course, we can't eat rain, so we eat rain is water, so food that is found in water is fish.
Yeah.
I noticed when I'm trying to release something, this happens when I finish my cycle, or when I'm ovulating. There's just a way that I try to honor all that whole experience. I purposely go and get fish and
Mm.
make fish. And
Yeah.
when I'm making it, I'm having a conversation and I'm like, I'm doing this for you. I want you to know that I see you, I feel you, I appreciate all that you do to help me be a fully functioning human being.
Yeah.
I just, it's really a lot of intention. It's the intention that I pour into it that I feel counts for me.
That's excuse me. That's really great. Yeah. Water is so sacred, and just honoring that whenever we interact with it, I find very, very connecting.
It's just, I don't know. And then I realized recently, like I think a week ago, that water is a means of transportation from one realm to the other. And I'm like,
Mm.
oh,
Mm.
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. There was this lady, I forgotten her name on Twitter. She was like, take a glass of water, put it somewhere under the bed or next to your bed. You're going to have a dream. I did it the first 2 days, nothing happened. And I was like, this chick is lying. And then I don't know what happened. The third day, I placed the water and I was like, nothing is going to happen. So I took the water, I drank all of it, and then I went to sleep and woo, I saw very weird things. And I was like, wow, that is that's insane. And I remember having to go back to the comments that I liked to look for that tweet. And
Yeah.
I just looked back, I was like, wait, something happened. I didn't like say what I saw, but I just something happened.
Yeah.
So it was just me having to go back to acknowledge that I tried this and it's true.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very, I don't know. And the fact that water is like, it occupies the most space on this planet. It's
Yeah.
like it's 70% water.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. Of all the things, that could be stones or I don't know, cotton or whatever, but it just had to be water. I feel like that is not a coincidence.
Yeah. Without water, we wouldn't be here. That's for sure.
Yeah, we really wouldn't. And then it also has this restoration kind of feeling, the way when you I don't know, you have a headache, don't drink water. You're thirsty, just drink water. Anything that is bothering you, top 10 suggestions you get, drink water. You're not drinking enough water. Just drink. It's like, I don't know, it is like the default remedy for almost anything and everything. I feel tired. Somebody will literally tell you just drink water.
Yeah. And you can bless
Yeah.
it first, and that'll make it even better.
That is also another thing I read. I read on whose profile? I think it was Inner Practitioner, if I'm not wrong. As like speak into your water. And I was like, that is a thing. And I remember the first time I tried it, I had a sore throat. And I was like, I read this thing where you bless the water. And I'm like, so I look into the water and speak into the water. I find it very ridiculous, but I did it anyway. And by evening, the sore throat was gone.
Yeah.
And I just, every time I do it now, every day when I'm going to shower, I'm like, when I've had a frustrating day, I just want to rush and, do something with water, shower, wash something, rinse something off, just to help me. Please just take this away and just leave me feeling refreshed and better than I was before.
It works.
Yeah, it does work.
Okay. Should we move down to the root chakra?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, this is very interesting.
What's it like?
Uh, I instantly felt trust, like
Mm,
this huge ball of trust,
mm,
because I don't know, there's this unspoken trust, or rather for me, with the legs, the feet. When you want to get up, your feet move fast. When you start, what your feet, as in, there's just this amount of trust. And is it safety or grounding? Because the feet carry the entire body,
mm-hmm.
from the knees going down to the ankle and to the toes. They literally carry the whole body, which means they do most of the lifting. They do most of the lifting 24 hours. All through, they do most of the lifting. And if you've ever had like a leg injury, you realize how difficult it is to move around. And
Yeah.
I have a lot of compassion for my legs. I think I
Yeah.
pamper my legs the most in my whole body.
That's great. Yeah.
I go for pedicures. I get good colors. I buy shoes like the world is ending. Um, I I scrub my legs when I shower. I oil my legs, massage. I lift them up when I've had a long day. I'm tired. They're swollen. I have a lot of compassion and respect for my legs, because it's really not easy. It's not. I mean, you're tired, you're having a headache, you don't want to move, but the legs are so willing, so ready to walk, like to get up, and I find it very, very fascinating, and I don't take that for granted. So I have this sense of trust and the safety, because I believe they're going to carry me, and wherever my feet stand is okay for me to stand. So in
Yeah.
essence, I treat my feet like a third person,
Mm-hmm.
whereby
That's
wherever it stands, I follow. The rest of me goes. Undoubtedly, it wouldn't matter. The legs are going there. They can stand there. We are good. So yeah, that's what it feels like for me.
that's great. The legs I know can hold a lot of the more negative feelings that we have. Sometimes we have a tendency to like push them away from us, from our heads, and
Yeah.
kind of stuff them as far away as they can get. And
Mhm.
that takes it takes a very strong personality in the legs to hold all of that
Mhm.
pain. And yeah, if we treat them kindly, like you were just talking about, that can really help them release that we've put onto them.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I see it.
And then I remember I saw this random tweet. this lady, she posted like take time to talk to your feet. So like you
Yeah.
hold like the sole of your feet, your ankle, especially the like the sole, because that's where all happens. And she'll talk to it and just, you know, say thank you for carrying me along wherever I want to go. You know, thank you for being stuffed in my shoes that can be mighty uncomfortable, you know.
Yeah.
Just a lot of thank yous. Thank you for having to deal with the dust and the dirt down there, and bless your feet. And I felt like that was very powerful.
Yeah.
That was very powerful. And I remember I was like, I'm going to add that and, you know, try and be doing that as often as possible.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for my feet, and it's the first place I go when I feel like I need to kind of clean myself up. If I'm feeling
Mm-hmm.
down or something, the little
Mm-hmm.
foot massage goes a long way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does.
And I haven't really gotten into reflexology, but I know there's a whole science basically of how your feet interconnect with the rest of your body and how, massaging certain parts of it will affect different parts of your organs and things like that.
Yeah, I had that some time back as well. Mm.
Yeah.
I think I love the coordination, you know. It's one step at a time. It's just there's a lot of coordination that
Yeah.
happens. And if you watch people walking, it's very beautiful. It's very beautiful. It's like they actually do have a mind of their own. It's
Yeah.
fascinating the things that the human body is or comprises of. It's really fascinating.
So beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we come up to the crown?
Mm-hmm. Oh, my favorite part.
Hmm. Why do you say that the crown is your favorite?
Uh that's like the headquarters of knowledge,
Mm-hmm.
you know. The every any and every new thing I come across is stored in the head, is,
Mm.
you know, tried to decipher and understand and analyze, you know, all happens here. uh and then I also feel like when I'm meeting someone, or even the first time when I opened the video and I saw you, like, I feel like this was the first place to greet you before we even said hi, how you doing. So I feel like it introduces itself
Mm-hmm.
before the person actually introduces themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's the thing or the entity or the person that does the background check and brings back information. You would try to look at someone based on the facial expression and be like, they seem welcoming, or maybe not. So
Yeah.
it's basically the fact that it's the headquarters. It's like a lot of awareness, you know, knowledge processing happens here. And it, even when you see where the crown is here, and like here is like the center of you.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like when I have a condition, so I have migraines often. Sometimes I noticed there's a way you can be gentle with your head, and it makes a difference. Because I'm on pain management, yes, but I would take medication and it doesn't work instantly because I need the pain to go away, like right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I realized there's a way I would gently just massage my head and
Mm-hmm.
talk to it and be like, please, I need you to cooperate with me because I really need to sleep, or I
Yeah.
really need to do X, and I can't do that if I'm not in a good state to do it physically. And it does come down.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's the place of all reason, the place of understanding, and it's like the center of everything. And someone tells you, this, and you're like, let me think about it. Where is the thinking happening? No, it's here.
Uh-huh.
So it's like it's the center of everything. I feel that's why it's my most favorite. Yeah.
Have you had a experience of it opening up?
Yeah,
Or
it
has it always
opens
been
up.
open? Yeah.
No, it opens up, and especially when they are in tune, like the heart.
Mhm.
If I'm in a state of, I like to call it bliss, when
Yeah.
I'm feeling happy. I may not have everything I want or need at the moment, but I'm feeling content. Yeah, it feels I feel like I'm beaming. I find that times I literally like take a mirror and sneak to look, because it feels like, so I need to like confirm what is happening, because like I feel like there's something that's happening inside
Yeah.
that is so magnificent. There should be an outward representation of what is happening as well.
Yeah.
It literally feels like it's opening up when I come across new information. When I'm learning something new, I literally feel my head just being big. Or when someone tells me how they feel based on something I did.
Hmm.
It could be negative, it could be positive, whichever the spectrum. It's because it's like I didn't know this and now I know this. It's which changes everything. Now you've given me the power to make a decision.
Hmm.
You've given me the power to act, to do something. When you bring information to me, I can either do something about it or not. But the thing is, once you put the ball on my court by letting me know this is what is happening, I now have that power to be like, I would do something about it. Say, I'm sorry, I'll be better, or I didn't know that makes you feel that way. I'm going to purposely do more of that. You just give me the power to do something, and that anything that makes me feel empowered will always make me be happy or feel happy.
Yeah.
That's it for me.
What is what is the your perspective on God from the kind of crown?
There's a lot of, and this is very weird. I feel there's a lot of humor and
Mm.
sarcasm,
Hmm.
because you will let me use time as an example. I recently just began learning that time is an illusion, because you we have I feel like us as human beings have our own sense or interpretation of time and how time should work, and then God has his own as well, you know so like in my mind, I've given myself a deadline. I need to buy this by Friday, so I need to have funds to do this, get this done by Friday. And God will just be somewhere being like, you think so? Okay, let's see about that. So it's timing works very different,
Yeah.
which makes you sit. Sometimes I look at my life 5 years ago and all the things I've achieved, some that are not even like physical. I can't show you, oh, I bought this or I have this. It's mostly internal. And I'm like, I never would have imagined 5 years down the line that I would be this way. So, and looking back, I'm like, it took, that's a little amount of time. I feel like I still have a long way to go in terms of learning a lot. But the me 5 years back then was like, I can't wait. Like, it just felt like 5 years is a long time.
Hmm.
So it feels like there's a lot of human sarcasm, whereby literally the way they say, you thought this, and then the universe just goes like, hold my beer, because you have no idea what I have planned for you. So I associate with a lot of humor, and then also a lot of humility.
Yeah.
I was reading this, I think it was a series, and there's a place where it was written, when we when you want to pray. I wanted to say bow, but not everybody bows down. But when you want to pray, when you want to have a private moment with God, he bends his ear to listen. And that really warmed my heart,
Mm.
because we think of God and we think of this mighty person, the richest person, he owns everything. So if someone who has that kind of authority can bend down to
Mhm.
listen to you, I'm like, and I'm just like this one micro, macro, whatever. It just, it makes me feel like I feel very humbled. So
Yeah.
meaning anytime I call on him, he can listen, he hears and he comes, or he acts, or he disposes an angel or a spirit guide or an ancestor, or just he delegates someone to get things done because I have requested.
Yeah.
And that really, really humbles me a
Yeah.
lot, by the way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anything else you'd like to say from here?
Um, I just I wish we would have more of this.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm assuming you're compiling this for a series or something, I'd love to hear other people's takes as
Oh, well,
well.
we'll still go down a couple more chakras, but I meant from the crown.
Oh, from the crown, I feel like it's there's a continuity aspect.
Mm.
You know the way they say, you know, the more you grow, the more you learn. That continuity aspect. Of course, this is the headquarters of everything, so all is deposited there. What you come, you know, your in terms of awareness, self or others or whatever it is that you're trying to learn more of, whatever topic or area of life, all happens here. Which and then continuity in the sense that I can learn something new today, but I can remember it 10 years down the line.
Hmm.
So there's also the safekeeping where there's this information is going to be kept somewhere and it is going to be released. You will remember it when you need it or it's relevant, or I don't know, when you're trying to also pass it on to someone else.
It's
So there's that continuity.
a vast storehouse of knowledge there.
Yes, there we go. Yes.
Library.
Yes. It's a library of feelings, experiences, you name it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How about the third eye? Can we go
Third
there?
eye, my third eye, I don't think I even need to take a minute to feel. I feel like I feel it constantly.
Yeah.
Um, my third eye is, you see that person who happens to know everything or happens to know a lot of things that they really have no business knowing, and they will, any opportunity they get to let you know that you know this, you need to do something about it. Any opportunity they get, you will have it.
Hmm.
So like sometimes I see and I noticed once I started doing this the cleansing stuff, I noticed that I see things differently, way, way differently than I would have initially.
Hmm.
And I'm seated there and I'm like, I have this new information. So what am I supposed to do with this? You know? What am I? And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, I really didn't need to know that. but but well, now I do. And now, you know, you behave differently. There's going to be a certain shift once certain information is brought to your awareness.
Hmm.
There's going to be a shift in how you handle or how you behave. If it's someone, how you relate with them changes from the moment you learn something about them.
Hmm.
And when you take an aspect of the Johari's window, there are things that people around you will know about you that you yourself don't necessarily know about yourself.
Yeah.
So how do you, moving with that, how to move with the fact that I might know something about someone and I feel like it's not in my place to tell them.
Yeah.
Like you will figure it out on your own. It's fine.
Does that
And also
information come
mhm,
as thoughts or visions or some other kinds of format?
vision.
Hmm.
Vision happens, I noticed, towards mostly when I'm releasing something,
Hmm.
whatever I'm working to release on. I could be like, I've been feeling very angry this week and I'm working to release that. So it's almost like when I've successfully released something or I'm releasing something, I feel like it was cloudy, and then now I can see, like it's like there's a
Mm.
cloudy surface, like you're wiping something off your screen or something, and now you can see clearly.
Yeah.
That's when I get those visions. It's almost a sense of, I know something, I know this piece of information, and when I try to find out more, it's actually true. But when I tell you how I know, I don't know. I just I just know that I know. I just know that I know. It's And then sometimes it also comes as thoughts. I
Hmm.
sit down and I piece up things, scenarios, things that happened or something that you were telling me, and I add 1 plus 1, and I'm like, oh, okay, so this explains this, okay, and I get to know something new. But when you look at the person, you're like, they really wouldn't understand or even know how to take this.
Yeah.
So I just released the burden of feeling that I need to be the informant of
Hmm.
people. I'm like, that is the universe's responsibility. I just happen to be privileged to bump into this information, but
Yeah.
I really had to work hard to release that need or urge, or I'm feeling like uh, this thing is going to hurt you. So I'm like, don't do this. I'm like, nah, I'm not
Mm.
going to jump in and interfere with your process of learning more, even about yourself. I'm not going to do that. You will have to mess it up until you figure out that, oh, I need to stop doing this. So I stopped. So it comes in thoughts, visions, sometimes even smells. And I know that will
Mm.
sound very weird. I know. I was actually Googling about it yesterday night.
Yeah.
Like, I can smell an emotion. I don't know if that makes
Okay.
sense.
Not to me,
I
but
would,
I'm sure to some people it does.
yeah, it's a very weird smell.
Hmm.
I just, I know I will smell, and then the smell is the taste now. I will feel
Hmm.
the taste in my mouth. And I'm like, what is bothering you?
Hmm.
And then this person will be like, I don't want to talk about it, or now they will talk about it. I'm like, and I'm like, I sit down and I really think, because I'm like, how in the world did I catch that?
Yeah.
Like, this person is not feeling okay because of a weird or a news or a foreign smell that was in the. I would literally ask my friend, like, do you hear that smell? And she's like, what smell? So I
Yeah.
said, maybe it's best that I keep this under wraps until like I've found out more about it, or if how to go about it, or maybe it's not a smell and it's just in my head or whatever.
Well, we're
But
constantly releasing pheromones and communicating with each other
mhm,
unconsciously in that way through chemicals. That's how it's how animals communicate. It's how trees
mhm.
communicate with each other. So I'm not at all surprised.
So that is, I realized that last month,
Yeah.
and yeah, that is one of the things I'm learning or I'm working towards finding more
Hmm.
about. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really interesting.
yeah, it is very interesting.
Yeah. And very skillful what you said earlier about not interfering with people's lesson plans, as it were, that
Hmm.
there's people learn the most when they learn it themselves instead of having you tell it to them.
Yeah,
I really like that. Yeah.
because, and I experienced it firsthand, because it was done, somebody did it with me, my guardians, they would be like, you can't do this, this is gonna cost you. And nah, it cost me 4 5 times before I sat down and I'm like, I'm not doing that shit again. That's it, it's a wrap.
Yeah.
So I took that experience, no matter how much I was told, because they can see, right? They can see that this is the decision that's going to cost you later. You will not see it now, but trust me, it's going to cost you later.
Hmm.
So there are people like me who will be like, nah, I do whatever I want to do because it's my life.
Yeah.
Or, a more improved version of me right now, when somebody can see something that I can't see, I am now more keen. Be like, oh, really? Tell me more,
Yeah.
so that if there's heartbreak or whatever misfortune that I can avoid, I can do that. I don't have to go through all that turmoil for me to be like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
The fact that someone else can see that there's a possibility that this outcome might not be favorable for you, I think that's enough warning for me. I don't need any more. I don't need to be shown or feel it per se.
Yeah.
But there are people who they can't grasp something. You have to experience it by your own for you to know that no, this pinches so hard, and I cannot go down that road again.
Yeah.
So I will not be your informant where I am like, don't do this, it's gonna hurt you. No. You want to do it, have at it. After when you're the other end of the thing or the situation, it's only you will have to deal with the consequences. I will not be there. So you will be having a meeting with yourself and you will decide whether that is reason enough for you to change or not. So
Do you have a story
that's just
about learning to get in touch with your guardians?
yes, I do. My Wait, the guardians in this realm or the other realm?
Any realms? Yeah.
um I have a very we were talking about this with my friend the other day.
Yeah.
And we were talking about our spiritual team, and I was like, I have the most controversial spirit guides you could ever think about. And we were talking about the selection process, and I'm like, that is what would even make zero sense. It's just be content with this is how my team is. And she was like, tell me who is in your team. And I tell her Maya Angelou, and she's like, yeah, I definitely see that. I definitely see that. I see you're a word person. You have empathy. Like, empathy should be your middle name. I don't know what that means, but that's what she says. And I I have this let people be people
Hmm.
mantra. Um, this it comes from the need of seeing things, and I'm like, this is not good, or that's not right. I have this deep need for justice, whereby
Hmm.
you shouldn't do that. I would be so quick to notice what you're doing that is not right or is inconveniencing other people, but I can't jump in every time to save. So I'm just like, okay, let people be people. There's nothing I can do at the end of the day. You have to experience people as they are, not focus on how to correct them, I
Yeah.
guess. Yeah. So there's Maya Angelou, and then there is there is Prince. That's very funny, actually. He I
I
know,
love it.
I know. I watched one video of him,
Yeah.
and I just felt I was working that night, and I just got this call. Everything I would bump onto a sentence, there's a word Prince. It's like he's almost like he was calling me or something. And I googled him, and I went to YouTube, and I found this video where he was being interviewed. And oh my god, I was like, why hadn't I ever known this guy
Yeah.
before? Because I'm like, this guy is mad funny. Like, oh my god. And it's easy for you to take offense when he speaks like the first time. But if you look at it keenly, there's always a message in what that guy says. I think it's just people would focus more on the delivery. But I definitely Prince is one of those people who was very enlightened to me. I find him very,
Hmm.
very enlightened, was very aware spiritually as well, which is very fascinating. I didn't know that. And there is Chadwick Boseman.
Oh, yeah.
I know. And the day he died, I had a very weird dream.
Yeah.
And I remember I texted a friend of mine from Twitter, and I told her, I can't believe this guy is dead. And it really felt like someone I really know has died, like
Hmm.
someone close to me, because the way he died is almost closely to the way my mom passed away,
Mm.
whereby you suffer in silence, and people mock your appearance, and people don't know what you're
Mm.
dealing with, and then you finally die, and then people are like, oh, so this was happening.
Mm.
And he was very compassionate. He was very a people's person, especially people who are suffering.
Yeah.
I really love that. So I don't know. I love that about him. So we have Maya, we have Prince, we have Chadwick, and then we have Nipsey.
Who's that?
Nipsey Hussle, this rapper. He died in 2019.
Okay.
His his interviews are very, there's this documentary he did on Dr. Wasabi. He had a very unique take on spirituality.
Hmm.
And I had that video and I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy. So we have him. And the last one would be, I think, Gabriel, Angel Gabriel. I feel like he's the angel who would be like, tell me who did this. I'm going to get them for this right now. So it's like, so for him, like I would be mad and somebody hurts me and I'm like, I want this person to pay for this. I feel like I would call Gabriel and be like, there's this person and I'm not happy. Could you just show up and teach them a lesson real quick? It would be Gabriel. It it would be Gabriel for real. It would just be him.
Yeah.
And the last two are my mom and my grandmother.
Hmm.
My mom has this gentleness to her. Even when she's coming in dreams, there's a way she just comes. Her presence is very calming, she's very gentle. And I use her for a lot of my creative inspiration.
Hmm.
Yeah, I use her a lot. I channel her a lot because she's the one who would always tell me. She introduced me to music. I love music so much because of her. I love literature because of her. The reading, writing aspect of me is because of her. She would always tell me, go inside to that thing that makes your heart feel, your soul rather, feel like it can't be contained in one place. When
Yeah.
you find that thing, that is it. Like
Mm-hmm.
that is the hack for everything in life.
Hmm.
So you feel bad, what do you do? Music. So I blast music up. She would always be like, inside anything you need, the answer is inside.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my grandmother is so much like Angel Gabriel. She will square you so fast right there, right then. So my grandmother is like the protector. So
Mm. Thank
yeah,
you.
those are people when I'm going somewhere, and if it's an interview or it's a new environment, those are the people that I call and I'm like, you just walk with me, guide me, you know, make this environment conducive for me, cover me, just make me feel not alone. If I'm having staggered speech, help me compose myself, make me feel less nervous. So yeah, and my guardians do come through a whole lot.
You have an all-star team.
Yeah, I do. I do. I'm very proud of that team actually.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, shall we go back to the throat chakra?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Uh that's basically more or less like the eye
Yeah.
because I have a lot of thoughts that don't get through the mouth.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I can have a cold, sore throat. It's like an indication for me that I need to speak up.
Hmm. Hmm.
There's something I need to say. And then very recently, I think like 3 days ago, I had a very weird dream of my teeth were falling out.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, good Lord, what in the world is this? Like my teeth were all coming out. And I woke up and I remember the first thing I just took my phone and I Googled and I got directed to this site where it explains, which basically means there's something that I need to be, something that you either need to say. There are different versions of how the teeth are falling out, if it's one or they're fumbling or whatever. And I got what was very similar to my experience, which just basically said there's a situation that needs to be resolved, and that means there are things that I need to say that I'm not saying,
Mm-hmm.
and they're bottled up. So
Yeah.
the fact that the teeth are falling out, that basically means I need to have that conversation.
That's
And
hard.
yeah, that's a very difficult conversation, that it's going to get to the point where I'm going to be put in a situation where I'm forced to have the conversation. That's why they're falling out, because teeth are strong, they're very strong bones, they don't just come out, right?
Yeah.
And that was very weird, and I kind of had a feeling, I guessed where, that conversation needed to be exercised. And it's an ongoing conversation, and it's really helped. I'm feeling way more lighter. So anytime, if I'm talking and I'm choking on words, it shows me I'm very emotional about the subject,
Mm-hmm.
and I take my time to fully feel. If I'm not feeling or meaning what I'm saying, I will not speak. I'll be very quiet. You will talk, yes, I'll listen, but I'll have no feedback for you. I'll just look at you and be like, okay, that's fine. So I'm learning when I need to not speak and when I need to speak.
Yeah, the skillful use of silence is a good thing to have.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to learn, which takes a lot of courage actually. Because in situations where the body really wants to react and shout and
Mm.
yell,
Yeah.
it takes a lot of courage to be able to contain and just listen, choosing to listen first before having the reaction. Because I realized when having a conversation with someone, which is, a very sensitive conversation, when they say something and you rush to object, you rush to deny, or have a rebuttal for, you already lost each other, because at that point you're not listening. You're in your head
Interesting.
thinking of how
Yeah.
you, yes, in your head thinking of how you're going to rebut what this person is saying. So you've already lost each other from that point. You're not listening to what they're saying.
Yeah.
So already there's a misconnection. So that is one thing I've learned, or that is one way I've learned, that silence is very important. And then engaging, not everything needs your response, actually. And someone can come to you bothered, mad, and they need you to they need someone to entertain them.
Yeah.
And automatically you are like, why are you yelling? And you want to also chime in. And when you just sit very silent and bothered and look at them, then you're not giving them the space and the attention that they want. What happens? They get just tired, bored, whatever, and they go away, which saves you your peace, because you did not absorb all that energy that they were coming in with,
Yeah.
all because
Sometimes
you
it can
chose to.
help them too
Mm-hmm.
to relax.
Yeah, I guess, because they would be like, they're all up there all alone, and you look mighty ridiculous, because what is it? Why are you throwing such a huge fit?
Yeah.
And the fact that one person is here, it automatically drags the other person to come down as well, so that
Mm-hmm.
having a conversation becomes a lot more easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's great. Okay, should we go back to the heart and wrap up?
Yes.
Yes.
I feel very happy though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it was such an eye-opening conversation.
Yeah, you call yourself a baby spiritualist, but I think you're quite advanced actually.
No, I still feel like I'm still on entry level.
Yeah. You have a lot of wisdom.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. It was really a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to be here with you. I'm glad you
It was a
responded to
beautiful
my
time.
tweet.
I did. I saw it and I was like, I don't know what this is. I will learn that day when it happens. And I was like, there are quite a number of people. I was like, oh, will it even ever get to me? It was I just tweeted and I forgot about it. So that night when I saw you, I was like, woo. I was like, yes. I didn't even think twice about it. I was like, yes, I want this. I've been waiting for this. Here we go. This is it. And I was very, very happy. And I said, no, come rain or shine. I needed to make time today. That was my main plan today. Of all the things I had to do today, this was one of the things that just absolutely had to happen.
I'm very
That was
honored.
my
Yes.
that was my initial thought. I said yes. Yes
Yeah.
to this.
And I don't know why I thought that I needed to have you on, but I just seemed like it needed to happen. So I
Thank
guess.
you. I really do appreciate it. I really wish, and I'm very eager to hear, if you've had other conversations like this, I'm very eager to hear what those other people would say, if there are things that they do that, I can borrow and do,
Mhm.
and things that I can learn about. I'm very, very eager to hear what other people have to say.
Yeah, so there's 2 episodes up on YouTube already. And yeah, I'm planning to
Oh,
have more. So everyone so far has been very inspirational and informative for me.
well, that's interesting. Well, guess what I'm going to do immediately after this is done? I'm heading over to YouTube. I am heading over to YouTube. First things first, I will subscribe, then I will now start listening to the sessions. That's it, literally.
Thank you so much. It's been a real honor.
Thank you. You too.
We'll talk to you later.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.